has joined us remotely. So Sophie has the question of why did you choose your field and how did you get started? So maybe each of you can add to that.
Yeah, I always wanted to live forever. I'm a scientist, and I did my calculation. That probability is almost zero. And then if you want to live forever, imagine that happened, then the worst case scenario, you might lose your brain because the probability if I make it to 80 is around 40%. So I thought, let me be proactive and actually do something about it. And just in case if I fail, let me leave some legacy that somebody in the future maybe bring me back. So you can imagine Matrix and all these kind of things, informatics. So that's the driving force. While on that journey, I saw a lot of people who have the same worry about protecting their brain. So I tried to focus on the brain from the beginning. And in the brain, the worst case scenario, if you want to keep your brain, is to lose it to Alzheimer's disease. So I ended up working hard on developing a model for Alzheimer's disease. And I wanted to make sure that model doesn't stay on the bookshelf. So I had to move to implementation science and team up with other disciplines to really make that piece. So that's the main driving force for me.
So after working at NASA and for an oil field company in South America, I realized that I wanted to have more of an impact on the human condition. I came back to medical school, and once I got to medical school, I realized, boy, I really like this technology stuff a lot. And so is there a way to combine both healthcare and technology? And I actually interviewed out in Boston and had a nice spot at Mass General, and I was doing a literature search, and I saw these people by the name of Clement Donald and Bill Tierney and Mark Overhage, and those are some of the luminaries in early Regenstrief history. And these were the first authors to Harvard's second authors. And I dug into this and realized that I'm a Michigan boy. There is a place in the Midwest that actually is leading in medical informatics. So I came to the Regenstrief Institute in 2001 to be trained in medical informatics because this was the hidden gem, the shining light of informatics that nobody knew about. And so I've been here ever since and haven't regretted a day. So that's how it happened.
So I started volunteering in nursing homes as a kid and always knew I wanted to work with nursing home patients. Was planning to focus on clinical medicine until I did a research experience in the summer and just fell in love with the ability of research to generate evidence to help improve systems of care. I think it's hard to spend a lot of time in nursing facilities and not feel we could be doing this differently, we could be doing so much better for these patients. And so have a deep, deep passion for that population and that work. And having never been to Indianapolis before, interviewed here after finishing my fellowship and absolutely in my best fit job in the country. This is a very rich environment to do research, lots of supportive colleagues, and also a community of support too. Nursing facilities that we could directly partner with, health systems that support us, and then the data analytics expertise to work on these large projects and initiatives. So that's why I am doing what I'm doing and why I'm here.
And this is a great question, and I've been sort of contemplating the answer. I wish I could say there was some conscious decision I made, but I think it just kind of happened. You know, I was born, and I was really interested in science and technology and entrepreneurship, and that's kind of who I am, just as a person a little bit. And I went in that pathway, and before I went into medicine, I had sort of a previous career development path in computers and technology. And in medicine, I worked in a basic science laboratory for 2 years. One was during medical school, and one was before I actually went to medical school. And so I had a lot of exposure to basic science, and it was really pretty thrilling and fascinating stuff. And then in the course of medical training, I found this pathway that was sort of more of a practical pathway for me to do something where I thought I could make a difference for somebody else. And And that's sort of who my family is a little bit. My father worked in the pharmaceutical industry, and my mother worked in public schools. And we were always sort of oriented around things that really matter to people. And that's where I am so far, and I hope there's a lot more I can still do before I run out of steam, energy.
So it's always fun to hear actually this. I hadn't actually heard these stories, so this is actually great for me too. I really always thought I wanted to be a physician, and I went to medical school. And while I was in medical school between my first and second year, when all of my other colleagues went off to some laboratory to do some basic science over the summer, I thought, well, that's the last thing I want to do. Because I had just sort of gone all the way through, straight through, and I needed a break. So I bought my first computer. And this was the time when the World Wide Web was just invented, and you could still count the number of websites. And I started to reverse engineer and started to teach myself HTML and website design and what have you. And that one thing led to another. That was also the time of handheld computers started to be used very early, Apple and whatnot. So I started to learn about and actually start to lecture about, even as a medical student, how we could use these technologies to improve health and healthcare. And then I learned there was this field called informatics, and I thought, well, that's kind of cool. There's actually people that have been doing this for a while. And when I went off to my residency, I picked a place where I would do my internal medicine residency, and then I could follow that up with a fellowship in informatics, and I got my master's degree in that. This was out in Oregon. And then figured that was going to be a side gig, so I went off to do what I really wanted to do clinically, which was rheumatology and immunology. I went to the Cleveland Clinic to do that, and became an immunologist, rheumatologist. When I got to the University of Cincinnati for my first faculty position, I started to write grants, and before I knew it, I was actually largely funded to do informatics research, and I ended up becoming an informatician who did a little rheumatology on the side instead of a rheumatologist who did some informatics on the side. Of course, throughout that entire time, I knew about the Regenstrief Institute because of its national reputation, and when the opportunity came up after some time in Ohio, in Cincinnati, and then at Ohio State, to come here, I jumped at the chance. So that's how I got to be at this spot. So thanks for that question, that was fun.